Alright, what is up, guys? So, this is going to be a little, a different video, I guess.
It's not going to be like a build video.
I could show you guys what I'm doing with my warrior, if you guys are curious. What do I have here? Postmaster. So, I could show you guys what I'm doing with my warrior and how it's, oh, and whatnot. But I kind of want to talk about the state of Fury Warriors. So, a little background of myself. I was a high-level raider back in Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King. And then in Cataclysm, I actually was overseas. I was in the military for pretty much that, and for most of that expansion. And I used that expansion to be a little more of a PvP thing for me. But I always played a warrior through all of the expansions, including WoD, where I mained a Fury Warrior as well. So this expansion kind of hit us hard. At the time of the release of this video, Fury is going to be ranked number 20 out of 24 of possible DPS specs, and Arms is actually ranked number 2. So we're going to address the kind of where warriors are at in Legion. If anybody is curious about wanting to play a warrior, I'm going to give you as much in-depth, insider knowledge as I can. So again, back in Burning Crusade, I played Protection. I tanked through Serpent Shrine Cavern, Tempest Keep, Hyjal. It was called Hyjal Summit, I think, right? I totally forget. And then Black Temple and beyond. And then in Wrath of the Lich King, I switched to Fury when Titan's Grip was introduced, and I was actually one of the top Fury Warriors on my server. I think I was actually the top when they did. I forgot. I think it was WoW Logs. I forgot how they, what that website was. And there's a jet flying over, so if you guys hear that, I do apologize. It's a jet spreading some freedom above my house right now. Um, but anyway, I played Fury in Wrath of the Lich King, and pretty much beyond. I never looked back. So in this expansion, naturally, I went to Fury, as you guys can see right here. I have the Fury weapons. I got them to 780. They are much further along than my current one that I'm... Well, actually, no. I think, yeah, my arms one's definitely caught up. So, yeah, I'm sorry about this, guys. I think you guys can definitely hear. That guy is... He's just like, yo, I'm gonna camp on top of this guy's apartment right now. Let's just fly around. He's recording a video. But the cool thing about Warriors and Legion... okay, well, here's the difference between Arms and Fury that I'm finding right now in Legion. I'm sorry, before we even get into that. Fury's a lot more survivable. I'm having a lot of issues, even with the increased DPS in Arms, the lack of defensive cooldowns is really hurting. And what I mean by lack of defensive cooldowns is the lack of defensive cooldowns that heal yourself. So you have Victory Rush, which you don't have in Fury. But the problem is you need to kill something to trigger this, and if you're trying to, solo a rare spawn, you don't have access to Victory Rush unless you pull an extra mob, and then you take extra. It's really, really, really painful. However, I could definitely see where the number issues for Arms come up. So I'm kind of specking mine the complete wrong way. Critical Strike is not the top stat priority for Arms Warriors. Absolutely not. And that's where I was wrong. I was like, man, crit's probably really important because you're getting all these double procs and stuff like that. Crit is actually not. Crit is actually number 3. Well, technically number 4 on the stat priority, but I don't count. Strength is a given number 1. So it goes strength, haste, mastery, and then critical strike. So that's how the stat priority works for Arms Warriors, if you guys were curious. And in Fury Warriors, it's like the opposite. It's like strength, crit, haste, mastery. So crit, instead of being number 3, it's number 1 for Fury. So it just kind of, that's the only thing that changes between the two of them. Haste is always right there as well. But the survivability for... And this character, only 791, I just got her to friggin... I mean, she just got 110 last night. So, I'm seeing big numbers out of this character. Big, big, big numbers. And we're not going to talk about that, but, they're definitely more than Fury. And I'm going to talk about what I think is wrong with Fury. Fury feels so clunky. There's a lot of, you got to get your 3 stacks of Furious Slash, but if you enrage, you really have to take advantage of your Raging Blow, and then your Furious Slash stacks fall off. And it almost is like a hindrance. You're almost like, I really didn't want to crit there because I wanted to keep my Furious Slash up. That was kind of a bummer that I crit there, which is, it feels weird. It feels really, really weird. But one of the coolest things about this class haul, and keep in mind, guys, I have only leveled 3 classes to 110. Demon Hunter, and this character, But this character by far has the most useful class haul out of the three of them. I don't remember Demon Hunter even having a teleporter. But look at this. When you're questing around, look, I can go anywhere. I can go to Suramar, High Mountain, Valshara. So like it's like a personal port in itself, and then you can use the ports when you land there. So it's really cool. If you're thinking about leveling a warrior and you're like, hey, is it cool? You know, it's really cool, and the theme of the warriors is kind of interesting too. So Fury, anyway, let's talk more about Fury. Fury is in a it's in a weird spot. So I feel like, let's see if I can get this to, there we go. Whoa. Creative champion equipment. Oh boy. Let's see if we get that bonus roll. Ooh, 143%. So anyway, the problem I'm seeing is Fury's really clunky, and Arms is not very survivable. But if you want the high DPS in like dungeons and stuff, and here's the thing. This is the thing I see people fall for the trap all the time. And they go, man, I was in this dungeon and this DK pulled 600,000 Demon Hunter pulled 600,000 DPS, dude, on our first pull. Don't pay too much attention to the trash numbers, because that's what they are. They are trash numbers. It's not that big of a, it's whoever's, I mean, you're talking about, it's whoever has the shorter AoE cooldown. So like on my Hunter, for instance, I was in a group one of these days, and this guy was talking mad crap because he's like, dude, look at the overall data of my DPS. We're like neck and neck, and you know, he was Marksman Hunter and I was BM, and I'm like, well, yeah, it's, you got trash DPS in there. This guy was spec'ing to Barrage too, so it's kind of like, bro, like I'm not spec'ing to Barrage. I'm expecting to the higher single target DPS, you know, for the bosses and stuff like that. So don't pay too much attention to trash DPS, guys. The big thing is when you have your recount up, if you're using a recount, you want to have this one on, the current fight. That's really the only one that matters, because that's where you're gonna see the bosses. I don't think I have any. Yeah, I don't have any. Like, but 205k DPS is not bad. It's not bad at all. So the spec that I'm going with Arms, if you guys were curious, is right here. Dauntless at 1. It's just so your abilities cost 20% late rage. I mean, that's just huge. It's huge. Double time. This is the one that I was interested in. I was looking at another guy's spec. He said he just swore up and down double time was the way to go. It makes sense. It actually makes a lot of sense because you get rage starved a lot. So what you can do is if you're in a fight. So let's say I'm fighting this guy right here. I can go boom, and then I can charge back in, and I get my rage from the charge. And then when heroic, you know, if at any point the boss knocks you back, because there's a lot of knockback effects in this game, I can charge back in and then get rage again. So it's really cool in that. This one was Fervor of Battle. This is kind of the one that I don't agree with, but I've been trying it out. I can't tell if it's better than Avatar. I don't think it is. I think actually right now in this video, I'm going to go back to Avatar. Avatar is just too freaking good. It's just too good. Like it's such a good cooldown, and I don't use Whirlwind enough to utilize Fervor of Battle. I feel like that's like one of those, oh, you want those AoE numbers. Like, no. Yes, it'll give you the highest DPS on trash, but honestly, most people don't care about trash DPS. And then here is Bounding Stride. This one is like really the only one to take. It's just really freaking good. It's got so many applications throughout the game. Lowers your cooldown on Heroic Leap. Gives you a nice little a speed boost, which is really nice. And this one was the one that I was really like torn on because I love Mortal Combo. I love having the double Mortal Strike charges. I feel like this is marginal at best where you can go here, because In for the Kill is sick. Because what In for the Kill allows you to do is it allows you to really back end your DPS, because you can get you can keep your execute going. So your Mortal Strike gives you rage instead of takes away range, which is kind of cool. So it allows you to just keep going with your execute. So I can see why that is. I need to test it a little bit more. Obviously against dummies, this is gonna give me more DPS because this is never gonna be active. So I'm curious to. I'm gonna do a few regular dungeons today with the guild, get my gear score up, and hopefully get to heroics by the end of the day. And we're gonna do that. And then here we have Trauma. I love Trauma. Like, yeah, Trauma is so good. Slam and Whirlwind now cause the target to bleed for 20% additional damage over 6 seconds. Multiple uses accumulate increased damage. So if you're like spamming your slam, which is what you should be doing, because this is sweet right here. You get increased slam damage by I almost said 40%. by 20%. It's pretty hot. And then in this one, Opportunity Strikes, it basically gives you a, like, back in the day sword spec warriors, if you guys remember that, like Burning Crusade sword spec. It kind of gives you that, and it's really sweet. Opportunity Strikes usually accounts for like 11% of my DPS on a target, which is pretty significant for a passive ability that just happens because I'm attacking. And it also triggers off Bladestorm, which is an interesting interaction. As you're Bladestorming, you'll see like your character randomly like swing out of the Bladestorm. It's kind of a funny looking thing. But it'll be Opportunity Strikes. And for Fury, if you guys were curious, the spec that I took and I went with, and it worked well for me. Again, like I was still topping meters. I was still doing really well. This is the one that I went. I went Endless Rage. Your auto attacks generate 30% additional rage. You know, it was pretty good. You could go with Fresh Meat because Fresh Meat's going to give you the Raging Blow. But again, I'm not a big fan of these above 80% target things. I really don't like them because they're completely turned off for 80% of the fight. So I'm not a big fan of that, whereas Endless Rage is on 100%. I went Stormbolt, but probably after looking at I'm probably going to go double time with that. I went Avatar here, Bounding Stride again, Massacre, which is the critical strikes reduce the rage cost of your next rampage by 100%, so you can like really start chaining together some huge damage there, especially at 20%. I went Frenzy, so it increases your haste, which is sweet because my haste is only like 9% with this character. Once I have 3 stacks of Frenzy, she's at, what is it? It's 5, 10, 15, yeah, 24%. I thought it was in the 30s for some reason. And then here I went Dragon War because Dragon War is insane. It hits them and you get 20% increased damage for 6 seconds on a freaking, 25-second cooldown. It's pretty nuts. So that's kind of where I'm at with Warriors right now, guys. I'm sorry if I didn't elaborate too much on how I feel about them or whatnot. I think Fury Warriors, they need to be a little less clunky. I feel like if you guys want the high numbers, you have to go with Arms. Arms right now is the superior as far as like number spec, whereas Fury I think is the better leveling spec at the moment because they have much more survivability. That Bloodthirst heal is actually significant. Whereas the Arms Warriors, they're kind of tough. Neither one of them are tough to quest on, but one of them definitely kills rare spawns easier, and that's Fury, just because the survivability is better, which blew my mind because I thought with Enrage it wouldn't be that way. So that's going to be it for me, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to deliver more content. I'm doing what I can to, try to help out and everything. For some reason, one of my Hunter videos got a lot of thumbs down, and all I was doing was showing you guys the spec that I was going, and I was like, okay, well, that's kind of a bummer. I don't really know. I don't know. It's kind of a bummer. I was just trying to help y'all out. But follow me on Twitch. Hit me up on Twitch if you guys want. If you guys have any questions, and when I'm live, come in there and be like, hey, man, I saw the video. I had a question about this or this or this. Feel free to ask me. I have no problem, helping anybody out with all that stuff. So, again, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope to catch you guys at the next video, and I will see you guys later.